Most people are very, very aware of the climate emergency that we face, but we face a dual emergency. We face a nature crisis as well. At a global level, nature is in real trouble. Of our around 8 million species, 1 million of them are threatened with extinction. But that's not just a global problem. That's a problem that affects us in Scotland, and it affects us right here in our own national park. Sometimes a big global issue like biodiversity loss is hard to get your head around. It feels often that nature doesn't change very much, and in our human life scales often that's the case. But if we think back, sometimes we can remember that actually nature and biodiversity hasn't always been the same. If you remember back, if you're as old as I am or even older, you remember back to a time whenever you went on a long motorway journey, especially in the summer, your windscreen would be covered in insects by the time you arrived at your destination. But that isn't the case anymore. Quite often you'll arrive with a nice clean windscreen. That might seem like that's quite a good thing, and having lots more insects doesn't necessarily seem that important or appealing to people. But insects are a really crucial part of our ecosystem. We use lots of phrases like biodiversity and ecosystem as a way of explaining this complicated network where things are connected together and everything relies on each other. Insects might be annoying to you, but they might be a source of food to other animals. We need that complete network, and it's like if you imagine a giant tower of Jenga, you can pull away some of those species, you can take some of those blocks out, and a lot of people might not notice the difference. They might sound like obscure, rare creatures that they never really hear about. But if that's an important source of food for another creature, that's one block gone from your Jenga tower. And the more of those blocks that you're taking away, eventually that tower becomes unstable. So biodiversity in nature is that complicated network. It relies on each other, and everything, including us, rely on that network. And the more pits that come out of it, the more species that disappear, the more the abundance of those species disappears, and the less resilient those habitats and species are, the more at risk that whole system becomes. And that's not just a system for nature, that's where we get all the resources for our agricultural industries, for our forestry industries, for all of our industries really rely on basic building blocks that come from the natural world. Our future nature vision is about nature, and it's about vibrant, resilient nature. But it's not just a vision for nature, it's a vision for everyone. Nature is absolutely at the building blocks of all of our industries, of the reasons why people come to visit our national park, and many of the jobs that people within the national park do. Future nature is about delivering real benefits for people, whether it's new jobs in peatland restoration or woodland management, whether it's about greater opportunities for visitors to experience nature firsthand, or whether it's about opportunities for communities to really contribute in their local community as part of this bigger picture of what we can do for nature. So we're working really hard at the moment with partners to develop a route map, a description of where we are, what is the problem, and where do we want to get to, and most importantly, of course, how are we going to get there? What are the programs, the delivery, what are the strategies and policies and funding systems that we need in place to not only make sure that nature gets restored, but to make sure that there's rewards for people doing it, that there's jobs, that there's opportunities for people to get involved in delivering that future for nature. The nature crisis is a global crisis, but this is a vision for all of us, and it's a vision that we can all do something about. People who live within the park, people who work within the park, and people who visit the park all have a really important role, a crucial role to play in rebuilding biodiversity. Whether that's making decisions in where you visit, how you shop, how you run your business, how you live in your own home and what you do in your own garden, right through to really big landscape scale projects where we'll need a real collection of funders, landowners, and land managers all to work together. This is a really big problem, and it's a really big solution, but we know that we can deliver it, and there's huge benefits for all of us if we can.